Hey everyone, this is Madeline Fertile with the Empowered PCS, and we are here to talk to you about each of our towns and the lifestyle, the area, the community, and what you're going to find here. So like I said, I'm Madeline Fertile, and I'm in Jacksonville, Florida.
I'm Christina Zimmerman. I cover Whidbey Island, Washington, and the Florida Panhandle.
And it's Melinda Cruzy DePerna here in San Diego, covering the entire county from Camp Pendleton to Mexico.
All right. So like I said, Madeline, I'm in Jacksonville, and I'll get us started with what Jacksonville has to offer. I will bring up our map here so you can see what we are working with. We have NAS Jacksonville, NS Mayport, and Kings Bay, which is our subspace up in Georgia. And what you're going to find is basically Jacksonville, it's pretty spread out. You're going to get about 45 minutes between NS Mayport and NAS Jacksonville. And you're going to find basically good pockets of restaurants here in Atlantic Beach, here in Jacksonville Beach, San Marco, Riverside, and really throughout a lot of these main thoroughfares. In terms of types of shopping, we have the St. John's Town Center right at the corner of 202 and 295, and then the River City Marketplace is up here north of the city. And then in terms of errand shopping, I mean, you're going to find like a Publix and a Target on pretty much every main thoroughfare throughout the city. You're not going to go more than 10 minutes without finding what you need. So we're pretty stocked here in Jacksonville. We are pretty spread out, and you'll have to follow along to get more information on sort of a zoom in on what's close to Mayport, what's close to Jacksonville, what's close to Kings Bay, and what to expect in each of those areas.
Okay, again, it's Melinda Cruzy DePerna here in San Diego, and I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so we've got a big area. This is about 40 miles from here. This is the northern border. Actually, this is 20 miles here. So I'm going to say we're about 40, 50 miles from Camp Pendleton, the southern border, down to Tijuana. And I'll make it a little bigger we'll start at the north and go south. So Camp Pendleton's huge. So the first thing you have to know is what part of the base you're going to be, or what gate you're going to be coming and going from. So if you're in the north part, the San O area, you're not going to live down here in San Diego. You're going to live up in San Clemente and South Orange County. And then the rest of the people generally choose to, so this is the main gate, and there's a back gate over here. They choose to live typically in this stretch right here. And some who get priced out end up in Temecula and Riverside County. But I put a dot here in Camp Pendleton. Oceanside. Obviously, the big draw is the beach. Here's our boat harbor right here. We have a pier right here. There's a 12-mile trail that goes inland, a bike trail. There's skate parks, schools. It's a city of about 170,000. Strip malls, no fancy shopping. There's a regular mall here down in this area. So we also see people come into Vista. We don't see a lot of people end up in this area right here. This is probably some of the prime real estate in Southern California as far as money goes. So it ends up out of most people's reach. Plus this commute down the 5 corridor. In California, we talk everything by freeway. So you live down the 5. So if you come down the 5 corridor, this commute is just too hard for anybody working up here. So we come south, and I've knocked off a few of the major bases. This is Miramar Naval Marine Corps Air Station. So this is more central San Diego. Over here is the Point Loma Sub Base, or Naval Base Point Loma, Coronado Naval Air Station. This is our amphibious, that's where the SEALs are. This is helicopters down here. And this is the big one where a lot of our troops, a lot of our people are stationed. This is Naval Base San Diego. So this is 32nd Street. This is where the ships are. So you can see there's a lot of choices about where you live. What we find is, like, there's really 3 sections. So there's that section up here. If you're at Camp Pendleton, we're in North County. If you're at Miramar, you have more choices. A lot of people choose this general area because of schools. This is very suburban. It's not the city, but you can see a lot of green space, a lot of hiking, a lot of outdoor living, strip malls, food galore, every ethnicity you could ever want. And you'll find, I put Mira Mesa because you'll find reasonably affordable housing there. I also highlighted a few other places. This is Serra Mesa. That's one of my favorite communities for people stationed here and in these areas. And then we find a lot of people end up out here in East County, where if you need a bigger house or want more space, or you're used to more space, this is where people end up. We head down here. This is kind of where San Diego is famous for, is the Gaslamp District in downtown. You can see the big bay, all the wonderful water and boating things associated with it. Coronado and this whole section is, again, prime real estate. So we've got really quaint shops, places to eat, places to shop, beaches, dog beaches, all of that, all along this area. And lots of things to do. There's nightlife. If you want nightlife, you're going to be here. If you want beaches, you're going to be here. And if you want affordability and you're based down here, you're going to be out here in Chula Vista. So it's a lot to cover, and I'll do a separate episode on each communities that gets in detail. But that's kind of why you really have to have somebody that understands and asks you the questions about what you want for lifestyle. Because if you're all about surfing and you end up out here, you are not going to have a fun post in San Diego.
It's too long of a drive, huh?
Yeah, it's too long of a drive. It's too hot. So the difference, like we don't have air conditioning here, but you have to have air conditioning out here, and you better have solar too if you've got a big house with AC. So
things to consider.
I need to stop share. Sorry, guys.
There we go. All right. So we're going to start with Whidbey Island, and then we'll go into Florida. Okay. All right. So Whidbey Island is a very long, skinny island. It's only about a mile across at its skinniest point. And again, down here, it's pretty narrow. So we are part of Island County, which includes Camano Island over here. But if you're wanting to stay close to the base, the areas you're going to want to consider are Oak Harbor, obviously, because this is the base right here. And then Coopville, so down here. And these are all within about 20 minutes of the base for a drive. Some people will go to Anacortes, which is Fidalgo Island right here. And that's only about 20 minutes as well, but you do have to cross the Deception Pass Bridge, and that bridge is very narrow. In the summer, we get a lot of tourists on it. In the winter, we get ice. It can close down. So Anacortes is great, but it does have that little thing to consider. And some people do like to go as far as Mount Vernon and Burlington. If you really don't mind a drive, it'll be about an hour drive to the base, but that's where you're going to find all of your significant shopping. So, you know, your clothing stores, Costco, Target, the mall, movie theaters, everything like that are going to be right there in Burlington and Mount Vernon. A lot of you have seen the tulip photos of all the tulip fields here. That's going to be right down in here by Mount Vernon. So it's not that far of a drive if you want to go see them. And even while we're on shelter in place, you can drive out there and see them as long as you stay in your vehicle. So it's kind of a nice little getaway outing. So anyways, Oak Harbor is probably your #1 choice for where to live if you're coming to the base. The price point there is a lot lower than most of the other areas. You're going to find mostly single family homes, and you have some really neat places in Oak Harbor. So they just finished a really nice park and beach area that's right down here by the water. And it has a splash pad, it's got a playground, it's got open space, you have the beach. So it's really, really nice if you want to go for walks or take the kids to play. There's also a lot of ball fields down there if your kids are into baseball. And then we have the seaplane base over on the eastern side of Oak Harbor. The seaplane base has our commissary, some of the base housing. So it's not really like the active part of the base where your military member is really going to be working per se. I mean, there are some, but they're mostly going to be over here at NAS Whidbey. So there's some really nice open space type homes over here. You're going to have more acreage. They're going to be a little bit higher price point. But right up here is where we get into the flight path of the jets. So it is beautiful up here, and you do have some really pretty farmland if you want more acreage, but it's going to be really loud. So if you don't mind that, there's even a street up there called Noisy Road, so it's loud. Down here, we've got West Beach over here. West Beach is a really tall bluff that drops off, so the views are just incredible because you're looking over the Strait of Juan de Fuca. You can see the Olympic mountain range over here. It's just incredibly beautiful. It's a great place to live as far as the views, but it's going to be a very high price point, and you do have some bluff erosion to consider. There is a community right here that still has all those views without the erosion, but we do get the wind on that side, so it's a little windy over there. We have a lot of state parks. You can see we've got Fort Casey, Fort Eby. Right up here is Joseph Whidbey State Park. There's a lot, I mean, it's so family friendly here that you can just go forever with the hiking. And so if you like the outdoors, Whidbey is perfect for you. So lastly, we have the south end of the island. When you get way down here by Clinton and Langley, you get a lot of the people who commute into Seattle, and it's a little too far in my opinion if you're going to be at the base. It's about an hour drive from Clinton to the base, but we do have a lot of people that move to the Keystone Admirals Cove area because it's still only about 28 minutes from the base. So it's a nice family-friendly community, all ages. I mean, it's a really good mix, and it has some great community features as well down there. You're close to the Port Townsend Ferry right here if you want to go over to the peninsula. There's a great farmer's market over there. Coopville also has a really good farmer's market, as well as Mussel Fest. So there's some really neat areas to explore with some beautiful views. But actually lately we've had such clear weather. If you stand right in the middle of the island, you can see the mountain ranges on all the different sides. You can see Rainier down here, Mount Baker up here. It's pretty beautiful. So, but your shopping is going to be on the mainland, and then if you want that outdoor experience, it's going to be here on the island. So really fast, we'll switch to Florida. All right, if you are PCSing to NAS Pensacola or Eglin Air Force Base, or any of those bases, smaller bases around there, Hurlburt Air Force Base, this is where you're going to be looking at. Just to show you where they're at, we have got Eglin Air Force Base is going to be right here. Hurlburt is going to be down here, and NAS Pensacola is going to be over here. So they're kind of spread out, but it's not really that far, all things considered. I think the biggest thing Florida has to offer, obviously, is the beaches. You have the white, sandy, beautiful beaches that you would get in Mexico. It does stay pretty warm and humid. The winters do get pretty chilly, surprisingly. It snowed a few times while I was there. But the most desirable community between all of them is probably the Navarre and Gulf Breeze area. They have really good schools and kind of a good variety of new construction, resales, and you can get larger lots, smaller lots. There's a good variety. So if you're looking at Eglin Air Force Base or Hurlburt Air Force Base, your best choices are probably going to be Fort Walton or Niceville. Some people look at Destin. The price point's going to be a lot higher right there. It's a vacation community, and your drive will be a lot longer because you're going to have to cross one of the two bridges. So something to keep in mind. If you're looking at Hurlburt, almost everybody picks either Mary Esther, which is about right here, or Navarre Gulf Breeze, and your commute will be about 20 to 30 minutes, just depending on where you're at. And then for Pensacola, we're getting a lot of families looking at Gulf Breeze, Pace, Milton, and then obviously Pensacola. And for NES Pensacola, a lot of people like to be at the back gate. So there's a lot more, there's kind of great communities back there, really good schools. You're still right next to the base, but you're also close to some really beautiful beaches, some state parks. So you do have a lot of variety. And then we have downtown Pensacola that has a lot of fun and shopping. And then up here is where your mall is going to be. But two things that I'm going to point out just really quick. Pace and Milton look like they're a long ways away, but Pace has some great schools. They're fantastic. So if you want to focus on schools and you don't want to be around the back gate of the base, I would recommend Pace. And then lastly, Gulf Breeze has fantastic schools, but just know there's two parts of Gulf Breeze. We have Gulf Breeze proper, which is right here, and Gulf Breeze Midway, which is about right here. And they're not officially named that, but that's what all the locals call it. So you hear them say, hey, you want to live in Proper or Midway? And you'll look at a map and go, where the heck is that? So just know that this is Midway, this is Proper. And Midway is going to be a lot more affordable, but with a lot of variety. So all great places to live, all decent commute to the bases, and really beautiful beaches wherever you go right there. All right.
Okay. Thank you guys so much. So it's so funny for me, like saying where you'll say, well, there's the mall there. And I don't think I even mentioned that because there's so many. It's so, if you're based in San Diego, it's going to be a different experience than a lot of the other places because it's much more metropolitan, yet we've got all different climates here and all different experiences that you can choose from. So I've had clients that 10 minutes was too far to drive to the grocery. So it's just a different thing.
We get a lot of people PCSing from San Diego to Whidbey, and when they get here, they feel like they landed on another planet. They think it's so small and rural, and there's nothing here. But when I moved to Navarre with my husband for military, Navarre, there was nothing there back then. Now it's grown a lot. So coming to Whidbey from Navarre, I'm like, wow, there's a Taco Bell, there's a Walmart, there, you know, it's so different in all the areas. So it can be a little bit of a culture shock moving, and hopefully this helps people have a better idea of what to expect when they move.
Yeah, I think really the whole reason that we're sitting here is to try to give you guys a better view of what to expect and what kind of things to ask about too. I barely touched on schools, but there's a lot of variety, and it depends on what age your kids are, and it depends on how long you're going to be here too. So, or whether you're going to keep the property and rent it after, or you're going to sell it when you head to your next base. There's so many things. Madeline, you were going to say something.
Oh, yeah, no, I was going to make a joke. You're saying your customer wanted to be about 10 minutes from a grocery store, and I can sort of relate. My goal is to always be able to get to the grocery store and back during halftime of a football game. So if that's accomplishable, I'm in.
Okay, we've got you covered, except we always have to question what time of day,
Right,
traffic.
that's fair.
Yeah, we don't talk, I mentioned freeways, we don't talk miles either. That's why I couldn't tell you how long the county is, because we talk time. Based on what time of day, how long it'll take you. Oh, it's a 10-minute drive. Well, everything here is a 10-minute drive. Just getting out of your house can be that. So anyway,
there's so many nuances between each city, it takes someone who knows it well to really be able to help someone move there, right?
That's my segue to boots on the ground, right? So we are your boots on the ground, and join us at our next episode where we will be helping you to understand what kind of questions, what you need to know about the agents that you hire before you PCS to your next station.
All right, thanks for watching.
See y'all next time.